do like 7-16 every on that flash, but it
Yeah,
gets a 6.
yeah, you should. All right, we'll call the meeting to order and we'll move right on through. We'll have the minutes from the study session of the 11th and the regular meeting of the 16th to approve. We'll have awards presentations and appointments. Thank you. Communication Committee and Board of Zoning Appeals, and we'll have those two names for you Tuesday night, right, Phil?
Yeah, the BZA, that's a second, but Miss Marilee Mischewski is agreed to it, and then the communication, got it right. The communication committee, the lady that's been nominated, I'm gonna call her Monday. She's gonna let us know then.
Okay, great. Completion and review any unfinished business from prior meetings. Ordinance 2026-1141 zoning. It'll be the public hearing and the final reading. An ordinance repealing and replacing Title 14 zoning and land use control, Chapter 2. Zoning ordinance, the Mount Pleasant Municipal Code. Philip?
Mayor and Commissioners, I have a lot here. Nothing has changed since last month. And the only thing that I guess I would read from the notes is there's no substantial changes to the actual ordinance. The numbering system is being revised to coordinate with our municipal code. The cover page of the ordinance that will say repeals and replaces Appendix A. But everything else that we've talked about for a couple of months is exactly the same.
Good.
Yes, sir.
But this has nothing to do, I guess, with what one of our citizens talked about. It's just totally different from what he talked about.
No, this is that
This
ordinance.
This is
Yeah.
that, okay.
Yes,
And
sir.
it passed the first reading.
Right, right,
Yes, sir.
okay.
Any other questions on that one? I'll have a short report. Chip, or anything tonight on the financial or budget report?
No, I'll probably talk more on Tuesday.
Okay.
I'll just go over all the financials and everything.
Cool. Philip, anything for tonight's city report?
Yeah, I do. One thing I'm gonna add is let the record show that Miss Pam's not here tonight
Yes.
for the minutes.
Yeah.
And then also, I'm gonna be adding a proposal from CC for a survey of Halong sidewalks up to College down to Goodlow. And it's just a survey portion of it. It'll be in your packet for your consideration. We've learned a lot the last few days by that being open, and we're still continuing to learn, but there's a lot of water there that I don't think is directly related to stormwater. But little time, we'll figure it out.
So it could be more than, just like you're saying. Stormwater sort of like spring water.
Halong does not reflect the water that's going between houses through the power company and out the discharge. It does not reflect that amount of water.
So that's some of our loss maybe.
No.
No.
I think what we have found, and Jack's been a big help, is like in 1900 there was a water reservoir and a pump station right there on Halong. They pumped up to the church on North Main Street before we had springs. We found I think it's called, Jack help me, Beers Mount.
Yeah.
That shows a stream that's kind of consistent with, it goes down the laundromat, East Cooper to Railroad, but the stream is kind of right there at Halong. So I feel like, well, I hate to say because I don't know, but I feel like that was, they had to figure out a way to get the water out of town when they didn't need it no more. So I'm not sure that's stormwater pipes. I think those are spring pipes that are going into the tributary and on down.
Or just clear
We'll figure it out,
maybe
and I'll
some-
give you a full detail. And also, which you guys, it won't be a part of that proposal. We'll have a company come in and camera every pipe, give us GPS coordinates, look at the pipe. We'll be able to tell if something's coming from the ground into them. Hope to have that done in the next month or so too, to give us a better understanding of what's going on there.
Only one problem.
Oh,
Oh, I'm just talking about how much water's up through there beside.
oh, there's a lot of problems through there.
If y'all haven't gone over, it's
Yes.
remarkable.
Oh,
Water.
I went over that.
Go down there at the end of where, like it's, what is it, 30, 40 gallons a minute going through there.
I've got an estimated 30 gallons a minute, 40,000 gallons a day, 1.2 million gallons a month. And it's not
Yep.
reflecting that whole Halong.
We could have us a good spring.
Well, that's what we discussed too.
I think at this point we figure out how to mitigate stormwater and the other water that's coming in there, whatever that is.
It's open.
That's
Clean water.
good to know.
Clean.
Hate to have problems to find out a cure for it, but sometimes it has to happen.
All right, Philip, other departments, wastewater and gas.
Man, I didn't even think about that today. I'll have you, I'll have you a
Okay.
full report. We have had some issues at the wastewater treatment plant with electrical. Ted was back today and he helped get that along, and we also had Matthew down. It's back online. There was some words I didn't understand when Ted was talking about the electrical stuff.
But I mean, it didn't cause us
No,
no
sir.
problem.
No, it was just that,
Date or nothing.
It was some breakers being tripped and, what do you call it? Can't remember.
Okay.
PLDs or something like that. PLCs, they had to get back right.
All right, new business ordinance 2026-1146. It'll be the first reading, amending Title 4, Chapter 6 of the Mount Pleasant Municipal Code relating to travel rules, regulations, and procedures. Philip?
Mayor Commissioner, this is an ordinance and it's going to be 2 readings, but we're simply taking the travel. Overnight stays is 50 miles from here. But what we've learned through the last few years that it takes a while to get to Franklin and Murfreesboro now. So the choice, and we're moving it down to 35 miles or more to overnight travel. If it's something with police, fire, anyone else to go, say it was Lawrenceburg, I can give that waiver if it's overnight training or something. It's after hours, but generally we don't get lodging unless it's more than 50 miles now. But it does takes a minute to get to Franklin and Murfreesboro in the morning and afternoon.
You're gonna give them a top-notch place to stay, ain't you?
No, it's just the travel.
Just,
And usually
oh,
lodging,
just to travel. Oh, okay.
usually the lodging is provided by the conference, because they want the people to stay at the conference that they are, but most of our conferences are held for the finance department. They were held at the Embassy Suites in Murfreesboro. That's where a lot of the emergency conferences are held and stuff. So if that building's busy, they move them to Franklin. But the problem ends up being is driving to Franklin every day, then getting back. And most of these conferences are like 3 days. So we've had employees like really having a major issue. Plus, it's almost like the amount of traffic, and if it's raining, and like bigger liability issue too. Because if you've got employees driving every day in that traffic, it's just too much sometimes.
It's without a doubt traffic related.
Yeah.
Yeah. All you gotta do, get up in the morning. I noticed this morning it was an hour and 17 minutes from Columbia to Nashville.
Thankful I don't have to travel no more.
Ordinance 2026-1147, it'll be a first reading, amending Title 17, Chapter 3 of the Mount Pleasant Municipal Code relating to open burning.
Mayor Commissioners, Todd and Ben's here if you want to address it any further. An ordinance is 2 readings and it's related to the burn permits or give. They're requesting not to do any more commercial burning permits, residential only. After talking to them, they're receiving a lot of complaints for commercial burning. Yeah, and they're here if you want them to speak more to it.
I would like
Yeah.
for you to explain it to me, Todd.
So what you got?
So what company would we be like that does their own burning, I guess?
So what we're trying to get away with is the code says pretty much you have to burn what the rubbish that's on your property, right?
Right.
I got companies that's wanting to burn pallets, in which pallets was okay for a while because it was not treated. But you're getting pallets nowadays with something that's having oil on them. It's soaking, and they're putting 20 pallets in a pile, and it looks like the roof's burning off the building. So if that's on a bypass, somebody's going to call us and say, hey, there's a fire. And when we know what it is, but we go over there and there's black smoke bellowing out of where they're burning, that's an issue. And it's getting to be to where it's an issue every time we do it. Ben actually pulled some numbers and did some legwork on it. So I'll let him, if you want.
Well, I have one more question.
Yeah.
So could these companies not use like a burn barrel to burn their?
Some are, and it's still having the same issue. Like I said, if they're burning what is not on, just a product that's not on the pallet, let's say the pallet it's fine, but they're getting these drums that's carrying no telling what, and they're wanting to dispose of them, and I don't know what's on that pallet and what's going up in there. And when you get a truckload of them that's piled into there, you've got a truckload of nasty that I don't know what's coming into there. So that's what we're not no residents. I still want the residents to be able to get their burn permits and burn what they want, as far as it's leaves and what's on our burn permits. But,
Chief, I don't know how to say this, to be honest with you, but is this any that's been going on like that, where you think it may be coming from somewhere else, and then the smell and stuff chemicals that you get off
Oh,
of
without
it?
a doubt, I can't, like I said, I can't tell you what's on these pallets.
That's
When
what
you
I'm
get over
saying.
there, they give us 2 or 3 that looks good. That's what they want us to look at. But then after we leave, they pile some
Sure.
pallets on.
I think he's trying to relate. Could it be masked with other smoke in the air in
That's
the
what I'm
areas?
saying.
Yeah, yeah, I think so too. We had one that wants to burn stuff, and all of a sudden, a 55-gallon drum that's plastic gets thrown into the pot.
Right.
You can't burn
That's the problem, and that's one of them. It's hard to get back there too, and
Well, it puts y'all in danger.
it puts everybody in.
Yeah.
And the way the city is growing, it's going to be hard for us to issue these burn permits in the near future.
And I hate to say this, but people will get by with what they can.
Yeah, and it's,
I mean,
they're
I
they're
shouldn't say that.
they're a
It's
company.
true.
They're making money. They just need to dispose of it properly. Is what needs to be done.
So you feel like it's more going on now than has been, or y'all just getting more calls?
Out of the 12 commercial burn permits that I've issued at the beginning of this year, out of 12, we've received 11 complaints.
Yeah. So
And I've also issued 6 citations for commercial construction companies or commercial properties illegally burning without a permit. And a thing I can add about the pallets, pallets that are painted, the sides of them are painted red or black, are privately owned pallets. Those are pallets that are supposed to be returned. Those are pallets that are made here in America. Pallets that do not have that red or blue paint on them could be pallets from overseas, and pallets that go overseas or come from overseas are heavily treated with pesticides and other chemicals to keep from rotting and to keep from bringing stuff from one country to another.
So I guess those pallets, if they do got chemicals or something on them, just use example, waste hauler, they can haul them out there. They have somewhere to do with them.
yeah, they'll have to dispose of them properly, or whatever waste hauler does.
We have a local factory here that they salvage what pallets they can, but once those pallets are no longer usable for them, they put them in a
Incinerated.
dumpster. They put them in a dumpster and they're hauled off by a company that incinerates them.
That
I
is
guess what I was
controlled.
saying, since they can't burn them, I just wouldn't want them to go somewhere being piled up. And then we stuck with,
Well, and then you're going to get into other code issues
Right.
if that situation too. So, yeah, I know it's a little rough, but we're about the only city that's around that's letting people burn. Period anymore. So we still working with that.
So, Chief, will we have a penalty for doing that, or they just get a warning, or how will that,
So that is part of the update. We do currently have in the ordinance a fee schedule. It's in the different part of the city ordinance that we go off the FEMA schedule. We're wanting to add that same FEMA schedule to the open burning so people know that those penalties come with whatever because the FEMA schedule of rates changes every year. And most citations, if you're burning without a permit, that's a citation. If you're recklessly burning, that is an additional citation that's issued. Along with that, we can charge for any fire apparatus, police apparatus, utility apparatus, and personnel for the length of that call based off of that FEMA rate.
so would that be put in the ordinance when y'all,
Yes, it will just, that FEMA rate it will just say current FEMA rate, because that rate does change annually. Like, right now this year, to have a fire truck on a hazardous scene is $25 an hour. Or no, excuse me, that is personnel cost. Engine is actually $150 an hour. And it's just to recoup on wear and tear of the apparatus.
one other question. When y'all go to them right now, and you notice there is chemicals or something, or you putting the fires out?
Yes, yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
If we get any complaints and we get over there and that complaint is valid, it's extinguished.
I know, I hate to
And
say,
that's on our permit. It says that on our
I
permit.
know, I hate to
It will
say
be-
this, but I had a neighbor, that was burning and had you know, had to call y'all and say, hey, man, he's burning something up here that stinks.
Yeah, and that's not right. Obviously, if it stinks,
And
there's
he had
something wrong.
plastic and stuff burning
You
up there.
can't pollute the air like that,
No.
so.
Well, you gotta respect for your
Yeah.
neighbors is what you do.
Yeah, I
Even
appreciate
they do.
Appreciate what y'all do.
Any other
Thank you.
questions? Thank you, guys.
Sorry about that.
No. Resolution 2026-32, bond resolution from Bassberry Sims for fire truck.
Mayor Commissioners, we have not received it from their attorneys. It'll probably be pulled,
Okay,
hopefully next month.
all right. Resolution 2026-38, a resolution adopting a revised capital improvement plan for the city fiscal year 21 through fiscal year 31.
Yeah, Mayor Commissioners, if you remember, this was actually completed in 2021, and then Shipper got here in 23. It was updated. We haven't updated it since, so I think that's on me for the last couple of years because it's in front of you. But what I will tell you is a lot of things have changed, and it's going to reflect the strategic plan that you guys approved this year. So in the packet, you will see the things that are highlighted that we have accomplished, and then the things that we've added with like stormwater, street paving. So it's not replacing, it's just updating that was established in 21 for the 10-year cycle.
Okay. Any questions? Resolution 2026-39, a resolution by the city authorizing payment in lieu of taxes for Mount Pleasant Power System for 26-27.
So,
These are part of our budget.
correct, the next three resolutions are kind of interconnected there. We have to do a resolution saying we accept payment in lieu of taxes from these three organizations. One of them is internal, from our gas department to our general fund. That one's budgeted at about 80,000 this year. Power system is budgeted at $426,440. And the housing authority is at 18,000. These are estimates based on what we brought in last year. These rates aren't determined till, for the power company and the housing authority, they won't know their exact amounts till the tax roll comes out in October. And the gas company, I calculate that once our audit is finished for this 2026 fiscal.
Yeah, good.
So those numbers are all estimates.
How much was it again, the gas?
Which one? The gas,
Gas.
80,000. From gas, we pay general fund 80 grand for payment.
Mayor, all I got to say is, I'm thankful that we have that, you know.
Amen. All right. We really covered all three of those in one. Does anybody
Yes.
want to discuss any of those all over?
Yes.
All right, resolution 2026-42, a resolution to obligate STDBG funds for 272,925 for the downtown revitalization project.
This one I presented to you all last month as an FYI item, just so I could get to the state before June 30th that we were obligating these additional funds that they had available under this state block grant, which is for roads. There's very specific guidelines on what the downtown grant could have been used for, as far as because those were TAP funds. It's a Tennessee Alternative Programs or Transportation Alternative Programs. And then SDBG is another bucket of money within that grant. So each one covers different items. They had extra funding for this year, and when I talked to them in June, they said we can appropriate these funds towards this project. What this will do now is, before we close the grant, our grant administrator is with Community Development Partners. They're going to go back and see if there was anything that we paid for out of pocket in the past through our funds that maybe they can get us reimbursed back through SDBG. Because SDBG allows for a little bit more wiggle room than what the TAP grant did. So since we were able to do that, and she did look at all of our pay apps, and she thought that there could be some expenditures that we paid in the last 2 years for this grant that we can get back. So by the time we get done with this, hopefully, we are breaking even almost on it, but we may end up getting back more than what we, again, actually with that, not more than, but just more than what we expected. The grant closing is December. Official date is set for, that's the last time we have to submit reimbursements, but I know Philip's been working with the contractor and them to try to make sure that they come in and take care of everything else. The tree will not be planted till November because it is too hot to change the tree. But I think those conversations
They
have
are
already
gonna
been
replace it.
had with the contractors and the landscapers.
If you'll remember, we had to wait until November this past year to do it because that's when the state, if you're getting grant funds, they'll only allow you to plant from November to April 1, I think.
Yeah, so that won't happen till later, but we are gonna work towards closing the grant out as soon as they can get the rest of the stuff that's, the other punch list items that the state has for. Hopefully we can get this thing closed sooner rather than later.
Good.
Resolution 2026-43, a resolution approving change order number 2 to the engineering contract with civil and environmental consultants for the water meter replacement.
Mayor Commissioner, you remember last month that we did a change order, and then even though we're not spending all the expected quantities of the money throughout there, but it increased that $4,400. Well, this time we are going to change again, but we're going to decrease because that made no sense to me. So basically, what we're doing is we're going to replace the water line on Scotttown Road, $10,000, but it's reducing the contract by $45,000 total because we only spent about half of those quantities when we done the meters because of all the PECs and the different valves that we had to purchase because we didn't know what all we had. So it's actually turned out really good. So this is a change order, but we're decreasing because last month just didn't make sense why we were going up when we still haven't had the money left.
Good.
So they're decreasing, but it is a change to replace that water line on Scotttown Road and service lines.
And that's a change to get one lower.
Yeah.
Any
It'll be in
questions?
your packet. If you got questions, holler at me.
Cool. Any questions? Resolution 2026-44, resolution to approve a contract with Samsara
Yes, sir.
for camera system for the sanitation truck.
We did this last year, so I think it's a really good program. Haywood has kind of oversaw this, but it's cameras on the truck and it watches every time it goes down and flips it. So it can advocate for us, it can advocate for the occupant homeowner. So it's a good thing. It's the only reason it's in front of you. It's $1,700 a year, but this is a 3-year contract, so it's more than 1 year. So you guys will need to approve it. So the total contract is $51,4416 over 3 years.
Any questions?
Probably cheaper like that.
It is, yeah, buying
The way
it.
things go up.
CT form downtown grant anticipation note extension really says no action required here, but you want to explain that one?
This was presented to you last month as a resolution to ask for an extension from the state. We had told, this is again, the money from the general fund. The summer of, I think it was June of 2025, we borrowed $1,050,000 from the general fund balance to be able to cash flow the downtown project since the state was behind on reimbursements. We have paid $650,000 of it already. And we paid $600,000. $800.
Okay.
That's good.
$250,000 left. We only have $250,000 left to pay, and that's gonna be when I get my last reimbursement from the state, which is what we're working on closing out. Till I get that last reimbursement paid. We keep asking for extensions, but they've already approved it, so that's all this is you'll have an attachment of the debt report that we have to, when we get approved for it, I have to submit the debt report. So the report's been approved by the state and they require us to present.
Any questions? Rezone request 6681 Polk Lane, and that was approved by Mike,
Oh, go ahead, Mayor.
and that was approved by the Board of Zoning Tuesday, correct?
Yes.
Mayor Commissioners, it was approved by the Planning Commission. The PC passed 2.5 acres located on 1681 North Main from R1 to Highway Commercial. In your packet, you'll have the PC resolution and the finding of facts worksheet.
Then I think we got the wrong address.
It's not 1681.
You got 6681 Polk Lane on the agenda.
681.
I sure do, don't I?
Not on their agenda, it was.
No,
I
it's,
pulled the.
I'm sorry, it's not Main. We will correct that for the,
And that
I did
property
it.
that's being rezoned up there should have been rezoned 100 years ago.
I did that.
It's Culleoka though, right?
No,
No,
No, we're talking about the property up there at Hamilton Courts.
Oh, yeah.
don't Main Street.
no, this is the one that Polk Lane.
Well, he's talking about the one, that's where the confusion is. He's talking about the Bone property at the old ground.
That's me. It's all me. I'm sorry.
This is
So
on
we
Polk Lane.
discussed it the other night. It was the property that they wanted to rezone for half of in Culleoka. This ain't it?
No. So that was just a lot split on
Oh,
Polk Lane.
okay.
And so me personally, I got it confused. So this is related to North Main Street. Hope Lane was a lot split that you guys won't see, and they approved that one. Sorry, Chris.
We won't see Hope Lane.
Well, it went to the planning commission just for a lot split. And Chris is here, he can explain it in more detail than me, if you wanted to.
Are y'all speaking on that,
Yeah.
Mayor, if you don't mind? Because I wasn't here and I watched it online. And I'm afraid, and I know, where they was, John, Hunter, the chairman, I know where he was coming from, but that's when it raised a red flag for me.
Which one we talking
We're
about?
talking about one on Polk Lane.
Just a lot split
Yeah.
that's not related to this agenda item. I apologize. It's just North Main, this agenda item.
You remember,
Reason,
Oh, what
the
about-
Brown property, used to be Koch Brown's property.
Yeah, but what about the one on Polk Lane? Is it,
That's,
so it don't even come in front of us?
No.
It's just a lot split.
they just subdivided up some acreage into 2 parcels on
May
Polk
I-
Lane.
may I still speak on that, Mayor?
Yeah.
The reason I'm bringing this up is because, and I'm afraid this here's what's gonna happen, is in commission. This house, it's got a house and then it's got a driveway going to it. So he wants another driveway beside that one, so it will go back to where there is a barn or something else back there, and that's on the county property. But what I'm afraid of, once we allow a driveway and they put something else back there on back of that property, do you see where I'm coming from with this bill?
I saw it on the agenda and I watched it too, and I need to ride out there and see exactly where this is.
And I'm just afraid, it could end up, he could go into the county where he's wanting a new driveway. The driveway is residential. So that's minute, on this right here. But where the driveway runs to the back, if he wanted to put a body shop back there and the county gave him an okay, he could have a storage lot back there for cars or whatever. And and it's nothing that the city can do because our 200 feet of right of way doesn't go back there. And I just don't think it would be right, to take a chance, for the guy that's living there beside it or somebody else. Do you see where I'm coming from with this?
Not for me. I need to ride out there and look at the property. But I see what you're saying, but I need to ride out there and look at it. And it does fall within
It
our
does.
ordinances.
It does fall in the ordinance, but I'm just saying, once it goes back there, he's got a driveway, he can put whatever he wants to on that property.
You could do that right now because of the barn that's out of the city limits.
Yeah, but he's coming in on his driveway.
Yeah.
So if he sold the house and kept this property, that's where we get in trouble at.
Yeah.
But I mean, if y'all don't care, there's nothing I can do about it.
Well, no comment. Meaning
But do you see where I'm coming from?
I do. I see where you're coming from, but
I mean, it could end up just like where I live,
Yeah.
The guy that had that property where I lived. It was supposed to be personal, it was gonna be his personal body shop. And then it turned into a junkyard. And that's what can happen right here in the county. And I just hate to see it.
Yeah.
I just hate to see a $2 million home. I'm not saying that will happen, but I just hate to see a $2 million home sitting there and then somebody else decides to put in something else. And I hope y'all see where I'm coming from with this. I'm not,
I'll ride out there tomorrow afternoon and get a look at it.
and I don't think we took that in consideration. I really don't.
well, I agree. There's some things you can't take into consideration, and in situations like that, when somebody request a lot split.
And that's what, and then if he sells the lot where the house is, then he turns around and sells the lot that we just gave him a free driveway entrance. And then he can, and that's the reason he wanted the lot split. So that he could have a driveway.
Possibly.
Yeah.
Well, I was told he's gonna build a house. So that's what he told me.
And it would surprise me, I
That's-
know the property owner.
Yeah.
He does do
He
that,
does do that, but
He's
and very nice stuff.
trying not to get too far into what he
oh,
wants to do. but
I'm not
it's-
either, but I'm
It's
just
gonna be a
saying,
residence.
but I can always know, you know, and I appreciate Kate for what she would say, you know, before you do this, know what you're doing. And that's what can happen. I mean, I can tell you, I'm gonna build a house there. Somebody else comes up and say, hey, I'll give you $500,000 now for this lot. You sell that other house for $500,000 if you want to. That's, I just hate to see that come into play. I really do. And I don't think we look at that sometimes until it's too late.
All right.
Mayor Commissioners, I apologize for having the wrong thing on the agenda. That was planning commission
Okay.
level. It'll be right in your packet tomorrow.
Okay. Chris, thank you, man. General comments from citizens. Robert Lacey. Yes, sir.
So, my third and fourth, sit at the house and there's guys walking through people's properties with poles, measuring utility poles, and my wife emailed Philip and he has no idea. We confronted him, like, what are you guys doing on my property? We're measuring for utilities.
Mhm.
What utilities?
Internet.
These
pipe.
guys are wandering through people's yards and nobody has any idea what they're doing. For like 2 days. It's just, what the heck are these guys?
They were by the post office the other day.
I think I remember in the email responded, if I had to guess, it was fiber, and it was.
Yes.
It
we,
was.
We contacted the power company. It's overhead, they say, but the power company knew they were doing it. I didn't know, but
Okay.
when I responded to
Just
you,
as long as somebody knows what's going on. 'Cause
with
like I
fiber,
said, we got 2 random guys just wandering through our neighborhood.
With no
It's like,
identification.
What the heck are y'all
Yeah.
doing?
Yeah.
right.
All right. Thank you. All righty. Ms. Hoffman?
Something that you brought up, and I still need to speak with you about
Yes, ma'am.
stormwater. I heard yesterday that you and somebody else in the backyard, was it you?
He's
Okay,
in-
we were trying to identify who that was.
He was in the
I
weeds.
thought it was Lloyd.
Which
We're
one?
looking into the water that
Yes,
was
ma'am.
going down the yards and everything. And I do have a big ditch in the back of my property where a lot of water flows, but it is usually from the rains. However, my property and my neighbors, the one that you talked with, Sheila, we do have little springs that come up in our yard. One is right underneath my house. So, I know that that was there, and I was wondering about the reservoir that the prior owner of my house told me about. And I need more information about that, so I need to make an appointment with you.
Yes, ma'am.
Now that you're back. My second topic is of a personal nature. In coming to these meetings, I've noticed that just a couple of the study sessions, I'm surprised that more questions aren't being asked, y'all, about the items on the agenda. Now, I don't know if you're discussing them privately, behind closed doors, if this is the first iteration of an agenda item. I don't hear the questions being asked. And I don't want things to happen that have happened in the past. Let's say the 247 debacle that happened, where people didn't do their due diligence in making sure that they went out and they checked the property, or they checked the company, or they checked the rules and regulations, or they checked the history of the property. I want I would like the commission to really make sure that you do your due diligence before you approve any zoning, approve any contracts, or anything else like that, because I just don't want to have a repeat of what happened last time. So what caught my attention is a post that was on Facebook about the zoning. And I thought, well, if you're going to be doing zoning and rezoning and rewriting the zoning rules, going from R3 to commercial, are we looking at infrastructure again? Are we making sure that we've done our due diligence before we say yes to things? Those are my comments. Thank you for listening.
Thank you.
What are they actually?
The groundbreaking happened June
My
3rd.
excavator on
Yeah.
built
You
the
started
pad.
the project, I just dumped the dirt so you can use the whole shovel.
I think it's supposed to be a few months, like 2 or 3. I can't remember. I got a lot of different dates going.
Yeah, it's pretty quick though. It's a nice facility too.
Mm-hmm.
Very.
Ready more. Okay, you dumped a pile of dirt so you can use the shovels, but it actually. goes
Well,
dirt.
Mr. Lacy, understand that's a county project as well, so we
But, yeah.
don't have a lot of county. The libraries are owned by the county.
I know, she sit down, so I don't have to. But anyway, for the most part, we always discuss what's going on. We do.
One-on-one.
One-on-one.
Philip,
No, I'm talking about
Okay.
even when somebody is here and they're talking, we're listening to them. We can't talk directly to the individual, but we are listening. And I guess, I just don't want nobody to think we don't sit up here and don't ask questions. We do ask questions.
Yeah.
You can see tonight we ask questions. But on I ain't got my glasses, I can't go back and read, but on that one right there, on the ordinance, it's been brought up 2 times and it's been brought up in the planning commission. And which, just because I'm not for it, I don't mean, it can't pass. But, we can always disagree, but, somebody else says, no, I think it's the way it should go. And that's the way it's gonna go. But I just don't want nobody to think that we don't, ask questions when we do. So,
Sorry if I attacked any.
no, ma'am, no, ma'am.
I don't anything. Have a very tough job. Maybe I asked too. Now I have things all the time. I like to go out and see and touch things, visualize, and actually go to a job site and talk to them.
well,
That's
like
just how I am.
well, yesterday
I
you
don't know
saw,
what you guys do.
while we was in your backyard yesterday, we wanted to see what was going on. So you might not physically get us to talk about it up here, but I personally call Schiffer or Philip all the time about something. We get the agenda before tonight, so we can go out prior to tonight if we got questions. I think I called you 2 days ago, Schiffer, to understand this stuff on the agenda. So I do go to Philip. He runs the city. We just passed ordinance and stuff in our control. So certain things I might not have the answer to, but that's why you got department heads and you got side committees like planning commission. You got other stuff to help us make our decision. So, yeah,
But for the most part, you gotta get permission to go on somebody's property.
right.
Because if you go on somebody's property,
He got it.
Not on her property, we was on the.
Ms. Sheila
I
said,
mean-
yeah, Ms. Sheila, yeah.
I was on somebody's property one time and it could be whether it's city business or political, doing a campaign or whatever. But I went to a guy's house and knocked on the door. His wife and a child, or I'd say, probably about 10 years old, they was out there. So I was talking to them, and then the husband comes out and he says, "Leave my property now." I said, "There you go." I turned around And here they come. Two big Doberman
they
Doberman
come.
pitches. Yes, sir.
Well, my neighbor said that nobody went on my property. She said that you got permission for.
Yes.
Talk with you.
Yeah.
And that was wonderful. And I said, well, you should talk about it. That's all I was referring.
And Ms. Hoffman, I can assure you, there's a lot of work that goes on behind the scenes before it ever hits here.
Oh, my God.
A lot. I'm here every morning about 7:30 to meet with Philip, just about every morning to figure out what the day looks like. And I didn't come up there yesterday with them, but I was on the Ranger with them for 2 hours yesterday looking at stuff. So but I understand how sitting in an audience, you could think that there wasn't that much discussion. And you're to your side of it. All right, anybody else got anything? Lori?
No, just want you to remember the community fish fry tomorrow. That's gonna take place.
Not tomorrow.
Yeah,
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
don't scare me, I gotta work. It's tomorrow on Columbian Avenue at Chavez Funeral Home. It's for the community, it's free fish, free food. Y'all just come get it
What time?
from 2 to 6.
2 to 6.
Come through,
Mike?
please.
No, I'm good, mate.
I know Mental Health Cooperative at Riverside tomorrow from 10 to 2, they're giving a backpack giveaway. So and they're having bounce houses. So if you know anybody need backpacks or want to bring their children to have fun, it's all free tomorrow at Riverside in Columbia.
I got one last thing. We'll get this done. Saturday afternoon, starting at 5, 6, farmer's market right here in the parking lot. Gonna start doing those pretty regular.
Jesus, I don't know.
I think we still need to get that.
But it's Saturday afternoon late. All right, thanks everybody for being here. Everybody have a great evening.